Hi, I'm Matt,
And I'm Dave.
and welcome to this actual live recording on why people get ripped off with Magento, and crucially, how you can avoid it. So there's four questions which will either qualify you in or qualify you out. So if you're going to spend the next couple of minutes with us, listen to these questions. If you say yes to any of these, then hang around. If not, then this video probably isn't for you. So with that said, are you looking to use Magento for your next e-commerce website? Are you unhappy with your current website? Have you received an obscene quote from a design company, in inverted commas? Or do you have no idea about coding at all and have been absolutely baffled by designers and developers in the past? Now, if you've answered yes to any of those, do hang around, because the tips which we've got for you in this, again, in this recording and also live broadcast, myself and Dave are streaming this out live right now on Meerkat and also Periscope as well. And we've also promised our followers, if we make any mistakes, we're going to leave them in, because we said that if we make millions of ourselves, we'll leave them in. All right. So as you can tell, we're real people. We're really passionate about what we do. And the reason why we're making this recording right now for you is that we don't want you to fall into the mistakes which other people make. And unfortunately, we've seen too many of these kinds of emails in the last couple of weeks with one specific company, but I'm sure you've come across the horror stories before in the past. And if you stay with us for 10, 20 minutes, just following these very free, very simple rules, and you cannot go wrong, and you'll go into your next Magento website build eyes wide open in what you're doing. So, Dave,
I think as well, Matt, the crucial thing that we need to mention here is that when we started Understanding E, we knew that this was prevalent in the industry. There was people charging 5, 10, 15, even £20,000 for a Magento website. And when it came to it, me and Matt knew it didn't have to cost that. There was no way it cost that much to build.
Well, there was quotes going out for 20 grand websites, which were $99 themes off ThemeForest. And you're going to learn about that in a few moments' time anyway. So.
And when we started Understanding E, that was one of the things which was always in the back of our mind when we started the business. And it was always in our mind that we were going to tackle this. And due to the emails that we've received over the past 2 weeks or so, we've seen too many horror stories, and this is us now saying, right, we're going to tackle this head on and try and spread some awareness about this.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's start with the basics. Magento is by far the leading e-commerce platform for you to use. Literally, in a very recent article by Headworks, like 30% of the top 1 million e-commerce websites are based upon Magento. Me and Dave like Magento a lot. It's got a lot of flexibility in there. And by the way, our reasons for liking Magento are not because you can create a fantastic looking website and it comes with a load of features. We're more interested in it for the multi-channel side of it. So you can use Magento to sell onto eBay, sell onto Amazon, have your stock levels correct. So if you sell one on eBay, it updates your website and updates Amazon. You can manage your orders in from a single location. And if you look at these multi-channel software providers, is that they're really expensive. And the thing is that we call this the third generation because it doesn't need to be that anymore. And that's what me and Dave have done for the last 18 months, is prove to you through video tutorials, step-by-step guides, is that you can make your own multi-channel software, and it doesn't need to cost the GDP of a small country to do it. Literally on a shoestring budget, you can manage your business across all these different marketplaces. Now, coming back onto the topic, is that we really do genuinely want for you not to become the next victim of a stupid quote or a very long and frustrating process of getting your website built. And the reason for this is very straightforward. Is me and Dave both believe that for every £10 or $10 which you put into your website in the build stage, you need to recoup that afterwards in profit. And that's hard. So as far as any budget which you do have, it's always best to spend that as little as possible in the actual build stage and design stage. We're not saying cut every single corner. Any budget which you do have, maybe spend on a luxury extension like a one-step checkout or similar. Reviews, yeah, things like that. And to then, with whatever budget you've got left over, you can spend that in the most crucial area for your business, which is the marketing side, because ultimately that makes you money. And then if you basically don't dig yourself a big hole in financially in here, dig a shallow hole, get your website up and running, and then it's much easier to climb out of that. And of course, if you need features and tweaks later on, is that you can add them in because the website is now making you money. Does that make sense, Dave?
Absolutely. It's one of those. You obviously, if you can keep the initial outlay of your website as little as possible, then to recoup that becomes a lot easier, and then you can start hitting profit, and then you have a bigger pot of money to play with, build the site, build your stock, and that's where things get most interesting.
Absolutely. So let's get into the bulk of this now, Dave. Now, by the way, you would see me moving around because I'm looking up another screen up here to make sure I get on the right screens. Okay, so let's focus on the crucial one, which is what do you actually want from your Magento website? Now, this is such a daft question, and it's not that hard to work out, because if you do a little bit of research, maybe look at other Magento websites, maybe take some video tutorials online, whether they're Understanding Ease or anybody else's, it really doesn't matter. That we're from Understanding Ease. We've got loads of free tutorials for you to watch, and also some paid ones. But put that aside completely. It doesn't matter if you watch ours. Watch anybody's video tutorials on Magento. And our reasoning behind that is because then you'll become more familiar with Magento. You'll know how to create a product, how to edit a product, how to change the logo, and you'll get more familiar with the features and the functionalities which are available in Magento. Go on.
I was just going to say that's the key there, because as soon as you start looking around and looking what other people are doing, you then get to an idea of what you want for your website. And as soon as you know what you want for your website, that just makes everything a hell of a lot easier. It makes it harder for scrupulous companies to take the P out of you, because you know exactly what it is that you want. They can't misinterpret or get a little bit hazy around certain features. So actually taking the time to sit down and write a project specification is worth its weight in gold.
Now Dave, just
sounds scary, doesn't it, Matt?
Yeah, I was going to say project specification sounds scary, but it's not that at all. It's literally, if you've got a whiteboard or maybe a Google Doc, you get onto your whiteboard and you just write in what you would like. We're not talking rocket science here. Say, well, I'd like SSL across my entire website. Well, that's brilliant. You've specified that early. You now know that, okay, I need to get an SSL certificate. So you may budget £30 or maybe $60 for a cheap one. Or if you want a green bar one, like on the understandinge.com, you may need to factor in £250. And in that one specification, which you've written down, you already know that you need to go and get an SSL certificate. And there might be two different types available, which basically put down to non-green bar and one with a big green bar at the top. And there's a price difference. So you're already working yourself out a budget. Oh, I want the green one, the big green one. So, right, that's £250. So
the crucial point there is
expectations in the first bullet point, which you've added.
Yeah, you then have the cost of the SSL itself at $250, and if you've seen a tutorial online on how to set up an SSL on a Magento website, you then know how difficult or how long that should take someone to do that. So if a company is then saying, oh, it'll cost you £500 to do it, to configure it and set it up, you can go, and don't think so. That's not what it's going to take. It's going to take 10, 15 minutes at most to do it.
Yeah, and maybe a short while for the DNS to update and the server changes and things like that.
Which, of course, you shouldn't be being charged for, because there's nothing that anyone can do about that.
Yeah, and Dave, going off the script here a little bit, understandinge.com, we've got the green bar SSL certificate. We use Simple Servers, who is our web hosting company, and in the price which we paid, they set it up on the web server. And trust me, I am a little bit nerdy, and SSL certificates, they either go really, really well in the installation of them, or they're a complete pain in the rear. Now, the last two which I did were a complete pain in the rear. So when Symbol said, "Oh, this is already set in the price," I was like, "Yes, you do it. You have it.
Have it, please."
Yeah, and I'm quite an animated character, and that really was the actions which I was doing at the time. Yes, of course you can set that up for us, because I don't want the hassle of it. Now, anyway, coming back onto the point of a specification. Now, we do have an article which goes with this broadcast and this video. And if you nip across to understandinge.com/y-people-get-ripped-off-Magento, you'll come across the article. And that's what we're using here as a base. Now, with that said, you may also want in your product specification to be able to choose which products appear on your homepage. Okay, so you would just write that as a bullet point on your list. Homepage, products, okay? And you may then work out, oh, actually, I would like 3 sections on my homepage, and I would like to put different products in those different sections, okay? So you then go times 3. And you can see how this expands out really quickly, because you may want one for special offers or new in. You may then realise, again, this is where you get your bullet pen out or keyboard out, and you then maybe you want a daily deal widget or a weekly deal widget within your system or within your Magento website. Maybe you want a one-step checkout. Now, those are an additional cost for because it's not actually built into Magento, one of those all-in-one checkouts. So you may go, well, I want a one-step checkout, and okay, that's an extension. So you may factor in 150 quid, which is probably a little bit overpriced, but you've got some spare cash afterwards. Remember, you can spend that on the marketing of your website. Then, of course, you may want something like postcode lookup. Yeah. So if you're in the United Kingdom, there's a brilliant company called Crafty Clicks, because there's 2 types of companies. You've got Postcode Anywhere, which are like ridiculously expensive, and there's another company called Crafty Clicks. Again, you would find this out with a tiny little bit of research. Yep. Yeah, a little bit of company research. And it's like a fraction of the price. It's integrated into Magento, and it works really well. So you're identifying it here on the whiteboard, or in your Google Doc or in a Word doc, and you've not shelled out any cash for someone else to do this for you. You've just gone, oh, I like postcode lookup, so you get it on there, and then you go and do your research, and you go in eyes wide open into this process. And this is why we're pointing. This product, this specification, isn't hard. It just takes a little bit of preparation on your side. So ultimately, you're paying the extra couple of quid for the bits which you actually need, not what turns up in a product specification. They charge you 200 quid to install an extension. So a couple more examples there, Dave.
So you may decide that you want, whilst you're thinking about the homepage, you might think, actually, I'd want 4 rotating banners, and then maybe I'd want some category banners as well for the main categories on my site. So you might think 12 banners, they'll need designing. You may want an integrated blog.
Which WordPress. You would do with WordPress. And by the way, there's a free extension called by the company called Fishpig, okay, yep. Which is brilliant out of the box. We didn't think that was kind of good enough for us if we wanted that kind of integration into Magento. So the tutorials which we made, we added lots of extra static blocks in for marketing purposes. But that's a topic for a different day.
If you're going to go blog, you probably want WordPress. It's the sort of market leader. You may want a reviews integrated into your site for product reviews. Again, this would be through a third-party company such as Trustpilot or FIFO. Again, most of these will have integrations into Magento. Yep. Again, you would set aside a budget for those because they're not going to be free, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. You then would want maybe customizable transaction emails with your full branding, so with logo and pulling in some key data fields.
In that one there, which Dave's just highlighted there, is that that's already built into Magento. The piece which is missing is adding your logo in there and the other bits of information which need to be in those emails and then for them to be tested. So you may think that you may get a big bill in your design build about bound transaction emails, and you'll go, hang on, this is already built into Magento. All you're doing is making some different templates and sticking a logo at the top. Come on, it's not that hard, guys. And you kind of get our mentality when it comes.
I was going to say as well, Matt, take this down a level, and if you don't already have a logo, don't get ripped off for £500,000 for a logo. We've got a tutorial where we show you the easy way and cheap way of getting a logo.
Yeah, I think the understanding logo, I paid $7.57, I think, for it. That was $2 for the font face, and then an hour of someone's time at $5.57 or whatever it is to edit it. So we like stuff on the cheap. But if you look at our logo, I'm really happy with that. I'm really happy that I only paid like £5 for it. So, and it's lasted us years, and I've got no intention of changing it either.
Absolutely. And again, finally, you might want training staff in there. If you've got staff members who aren't familiar with Magento, you probably want to give them a quick tour around, show them how to do the basics of what they're going to be doing, whether it's adding products or if it's dispatching from the system using the inventory tab. Again, staff training is a crucial one.
H, we're recording live. All right, thank you. Sorry, like we said, we'll leave these little things in. I didn't actually tell my wife this morning that we were recording live when she came back. So
I kicked mine out.
Oh, you did, didn't you? Okay. Let's go back onto the topic. The next topic for discussion is, do you want to add in eBay and Amazon? Now, Dave, I'm going to go off on a complete bender, okay? Which is that I'm going to basically say that you would be frankly nuts not to want to include eBay and Amazon within your Magento website build. Okay, the design and the whole system. And the reason for that is exposure. Remember back at the beginning we were saying for every £10 which you put in, you've got to recruit that in profit after the site is live. Now, the thing is that marketing your website is, and we believe in the hard way, but it's also the right way, which is quality, unique content always wins. So that's not easy, it's not cheap, but it will last your business for a very, very long time. Now, the thing is that the marketplaces like eBay and like Amazon, those customers, those people on those websites, go to those websites with one sole purpose, and that purpose is to buy product, okay? And if you can expose your inventory, which you've got tied up in Magento, to a global audience via the marketplaces, so onto eBay, whether it be ebay.uk, ebay.com, de.com.au, from literally all across the world, then you can get access to potential access to all those potential customers. And unlike Google AdWords, for example, or other forms of pay-per-click advertising, where you put the money up front in hope that a customer might come to you and buy from you, is that the overheads and the setup costs for these marketplaces are much, much smaller. The upfront cost of the barrier to entry to these marketplaces is very, very low. And you only pay the big fees after you make the sale. Okay, so in my world, again, I've been around this for 10 years or more. Launched companies like Tesco Outlet, Office Shoes in the United Kingdom, like the UK's biggest, largest retailer, onto eBay. All this stuff is all very natural to me. And then so for me to say that this is a complete no-brainer, it's just because the audience is already there, and they're going to eBay, they're going to Amazon to make those purchases. And with Magento, okay, and if you didn't know this already, there is an extension called M2E Pro, which you can hook up, and right now it's provided free because eBay subsidized this. And remember, eBay also own Magento, okay, and that extension
works quite well together.
Works very well for it together. Is that you can also use the same extension to then also sell and manage your stock and manage your orders from Amazon as well, and it supports all the different Amazon sites too. And this for us is a no-brainer. I'm going to use the whiteboard for this. You've got a product, so I'm stood here drinking coffee, for example. Okay, you've got a coffee mug. Now, that mug, okay, is on your Magento website. But why can't it be on eBay and Amazon at the same time? Okay, and this is the cool thing about Magento, is because this extension does exist. It's free to use in the moment because, like we said, eBay subsidize it. And that one mug, you can have that available on eBay, you can have it available on Amazon and your website at the same time. And of course, the other point which I'm missing here, Dave, is that you could also have a point of sale system which is hooked up to your Magento. So you may have a retail store, so another point of sale. Okay, and maybe you sell that item in your retail store because you're using Magento for your point of sale system. So if someone types the details in, remember you would put that on your specification list.
Yep.
Okay. You sell it in your store, and actually, let's say we've got 10. Okay. You sell one in your retail store. Now that means now you've got 9 in stock because one's tied up in an order. So M2E Pro then goes off to eBay and updates that to 9, and also updates Amazon to 9. But Dave, Lisa has just been delivered a new delivery of another 12. So actually, we've now got 19 in stock. So we've now got 19 available to be purchased in the store. We've now got 19 on eBay to be purchased, and we've also got 19 on Amazon as well. Now, if you didn't know that you could do without Magento, one of the recent articles which we did, we compared Magento and M2E Pro against another software provider in the UK. I think it works out about, on a yearly basis in the first year, you would save something like £4,679 compared. And that wasn't even including a website in there. Yeah. So there's massive savings to be had.
And again, Matt, I just want to clarify the point. That the point is with the market, the whole reason you want to be there is because eyeballs. You're going to put your product in front of a whole host of new eyeballs who previously would not have seen your product. For example, on eBay and Amazon alone, the numbers are pretty close. They get just over 20 million unique visitors every month in the UK. No. And eBay alone globally has over 157 million customers. That's, if you start then taking your products cross-border trade, i.e. selling on Italy, France, USA, Canada, Australia, you and then just putting your product in front of so many more people who are seeing your product that the sales will naturally come in. And that is something which, as an e-commerce business selling products online, you'd be quite foolish to ignore.
Indeed. Now, if you didn't have that in your product specification, you should be going back to your product specification and writing eBay and Amazon in there.
I remember these two blokes telling me about something called M2E Pro, and I want in.
Yeah. Okay. So you can go and do your research for that and find out how it works. And again, we've got a load, and I mean a load of free tutorials to show you how to do it itself, because we don't believe these things need to be expensive, and they're certainly not hard at all. Come on, I can do it. And I'll let you into a little secret. All the video tutorials on Understanding E, they are meant for me, but me 10 years ago, what I needed when I first started my first online business, which used eBay, and I didn't know about software. I certainly didn't have anything like Magento and M2E Pro available. And that's the little secret of Understanding E. It's really meant for me, but 10 years ago me. And that's the person which I always reference and think about in the tutorials. So, sorry, Dave, you said?
You're also working on a time machine, so you can go back.
So you can go back and do it all again, all those mistakes and stuff like that. Yeah.
But I'm just going to tie this back to the whole point of this video is all about how to avoid being ripped off. If you then decide that you want to start selling on the marketplaces like eBay and Amazon, then make this point abundantly clear to any company that is approaching you for this bit, and question them. Question them and see if they have had any experience with M2E Pro, Magento, have they had any experience with eBay and Amazon, because selling on a website is one thing, but knowing how the marketplaces work is something entirely different. And not only that, but knowing how to structure your data internally in Magento is key. And you'll see, if you check out the videos that me and Matt have done on Understanding E, you'll see what we call best practice. And that's because we've been and made the mistakes, and now we've gone, right, this is the best way, this is going to work in the long run. Yeah. And if the company that you're going to be trusting your business with doesn't know these or isn't familiar with these, you could potentially run into a few headaches, quite a lot of headaches along the way, which is going to really slow down the business. Yeah. And nobody wants that.
Indeed, and that comes back to the free tips for you, which we've got at the end. Okay, so let's move on. Now, the next one is almost like a dare for you to place in front of your design or development company, which is very straightforward. Go on, prove it. Prove that you know what you're talking about. Okay. Now, in the article which we've written here, is me and Dave are blokes. We couldn't make a cake between us, and the output of that cake.
Never tasted my key lime pie.
Well, probably wouldn't be edible. I know for me anyway. So when you want to go and make a cake, you go and get a recipe. Okay, and you typically get that recipe from an expert. And imagine you've got two pictures in front of you. On the left hand side, you've got this cake, and it's like on a slant. It's cracked all down the middle. You can see lumps of flour, and there's a complete mess in there. And then on the other side is that you've got this delicately wrapped lemon drizzle cake, and they put the drizzle in on top, and they've dusted it with icing, and you're looking at it, and you're dribbling at the cake. Okay, this is our point. Okay, when you need help, you go to an expert. Okay, now there's plenty of people out there which say they are experts and also say that they are gurus. That should typically set off some alarm bells, because you're going to basically say, go on then, prove it. Okay, now this is where it gets a little bit tricky, because the design and development companies which are out there, they're not going to have an arsenal of video tutorials which basically say, go and watch these tutorials. Okay, they don't have 300 video tutorials like on Understanding E, and then a YouTube channel ran to the hills of step-by-step, no nonsense, plain English video tutorials, which prove to you that actually these guys actually might know their stuff. And you get to meet us and the rest of the team, or specifically me and Dave, way before you may want to join Premium, for example. And by the way,
I think crucially we don't hide either. We're very easy to find. So if you have any questions, you can ask us.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, we're not a design agency. We're not a development company. We're here. We're entrepreneurs helping the cool people like you. And the cool people to us are other business owners. It took me 30 years now to work out that, to me, the cool people are other business owners. Like back in, I'm going to go off on a tangent, Dave already knows.
You're all a bit crazy.
Yeah, for it. Which is that back in school, you know, when they were saying, oh, what would you like to do when you grow up? And it was, oh, I'd like to be a policeman or a nurse or something, or a dentist or something like that. There was my friend, Paul Elford, and he wanted to be a fireman, and he became a fireman. But me, I'd never known what I wanted to do until I was about 30, 32, something like that. And I suddenly worked out, I've been working with all these cool people, these people who sell on their own websites, they sell on the marketplaces, and that's why we call them cool people, because it took me that long to work out that entrepreneurs like you are the cool people in our world. So let's just about, we're not a design company, we're not a development company. We make no-nonsense, plain English video tutorials in something called the third generation, which is to use Magento to create your own Magento website. As Dave mentioned, it can cost as little as $99 to do it, and you do it yourself, which is a very self-fulfilling experience. And to actually build your first website. I remember when I built my own first website, I felt very happy and had that warm, cozy feeling at the end. And you can have that too with the tutorials. And
this is quickly, Matt, bringing me on to Maria, who we met at IRX.
Oh, man.
She was saying how she had she'd followed our Magento design tutor course, and her friend who'd previously built her website, she showed it to him, and he went, did you build this? And she was like, yeah, no, I did everything. She's like, really? And she was like, yeah, no, I built everything. And he couldn't believe that Maria, who was on her own, not a computer person, had managed to build her own fully responsive Magento website.
Yeah, that was
from a designer himself. He couldn't believe it.
Yeah, that was a very nice trip on the way home, yes. Meeting so many people with so many similar stories. And we're here to help you through education. We're here to be the resource which you lean on when you get stuck. And again, we don't pretend that we know everything. That's why we have a community forums, because that's why if you get stuck, we've got massive, great big forums, sort of like 16,000 forum posts in there. They're now with questions from real people, business owners like you, asking questions about Magento, eBay, Amazon, M2E Pro, and other extensions as well. We're learning every single day. I find out something new. It's really cool. Now, to pause for a moment, those of you which have pressed the like button on Meerkat, thank you ever so much. And also thank you for joining us as well. And Dave, would you like to say something for Periscope? We are recording this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Live at the same time.
Periscope. tap that screen, give me some hearts. That's what we like. We like to see some hearts on the screen. But yeah, no, again, thank you so much to everyone watching on Periscope. Hope you're enjoying this. This, like I said, will be on YouTube. You'll see the probably more professional. I'm sorry if I'm not looking at you most of the time. This will be on YouTube. And yeah, hope you enjoy it. If you get, again, any questions, just pop them up. I'll try and remember them and cover them at some point.
Okay, so moving on to, also we're coming back to the topic, go on and improve it. It's unlikely the design company or development company which you're looking at or investigating is going to have such a deep and wealth of information freely available for you to look off. So there are some of the flags or very simple tools for you to use to identify if this company or person is worth actually dealing with. They actually know what they say they're doing. Now, the first one is Magento certification. Okay, I'm sure you've seen them or probably come across these before. It will be a little Magento logo, so that box icon with Magento certified. Okay, and there's different types. You've got front-end developers, you've got developers and developer plus, depending on their skill set. And that means Magento has been and tested them. Their developers have actually gone in to a real exam environment, okay, within their city or somewhere near to them, and gone through an extensive test to confirm they actually know what they're doing. Okay, so that should be number one, which thing you should be looking for. Now, there is a little note which I put in the article, which is
on our to-do list.
Yeah, which is that we don't have that certification. Maybe that's something which we need to sort out, because we've done so many tutorials and covered so much in Magento. There's a special tutorial and a special course or certification called Magento Solution Specialist. Now, I know in the back of my head, I could probably lick every single question which was coming in there. And again, understanding here, we can prove that in what we've got going on. But our point is, they may not be like us, and they may not have that wealth of information freely available for you to gain access to. So look out for these flags in the background. Now, I've got some messages going on in the background, so I just need to mark myself as do not disturb. Now, come back on certification, and you can check these certifications really easily on the Magento website. Literally just go to Google and type in Magento certificate directory. You'll get the link. They'll give you their developer ID or their certificate ID, and you can verify that person very, very easily on the Magento website. Now, Dave, some of the more practical options as well, like previous customer review testimonials and things like that.
Exactly. And our advice with previous customer testimonials, these are the things that you'll see on companies' websites, with a little testimonial section, maybe a little picture and a quote. Mm-hmm. Let's face it, these are very easy to fake. Anyone with a decent copywriter can come up with a few paragraphs in minutes, and they should always be taken with a pinch of salt. Obviously, they're only going to be showing you the good ones. Obviously, if someone's sent them a bad one, they're not going to post that on their own website. So our advice here is to take a few moments to Google the company, and the easiest way to do that is search the company name in Google and just add the word review after it and hit search. Mm-hmm. And again, you'll be looking for websites like Yell or Trustpilot or
Review Center.
Review Center, Review, I think is another one. Have a look, because the people who take the time to leave reviews on those websites are much more likely to be real people.
Yeah.
And again, it's then also much more harder for the company to get the negative ones removed. So you'll probably get a much clearer picture of how that company actually is to work with. And like I say, if someone's going to time to make a review, you'll probably get the good and the bad and some examples along the way of what's been good and bad.
Yeah. Now, a little tip for you. There was one review which I read very recently. For example, fulsome praise. What a load of tripe. That's obviously a fake review. And again, I think that was again, I read the rest of the article. It reeked someone which English wasn't their native language. I've never ever used that, and I use a lot of slang. In any of my dealings with the UK or the US or Australia, never seen combinations of words like that before. Reeked, fake. Okay, so apply some common sense to them. And a big tip for you is that people only care about people. So, for example, when you get email, okay, you really, really, really want email about me, or okay, to you. And you'll be able to spot the true reviews from the fake reviews, because typically a true review will either be very short and snappy and to the point, okay, or it will start explaining a story about what actually happened with that purchase, okay. So the longer ones generally are the more true reviews, okay. Yeah. But also don't discount bad reviews as well. Let's face it, we've all made screw ups, okay. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, it's a lot more likely somebody with a bad review is going to post, or a bad issue, or a negative experience is likely to post a review than somebody with a positive one, okay. So don't take bad reviews completely to heart. Obviously, if there's 4 or 5 recent ones and some, and again, they're really long and very detailed, make sure you don't run into some of those traps. And again, this is why we're doing this video and we're broadcasting live on Meerkat and Periscope, is because we don't want you to run into these mistakes. And remember those 3 tips which we've got for you. We'll summarize everything which we're covering for you, so you do not run into these things, okay? And you go in eyes wide open into this process. So Dave, customer reviews we mentioned.
We quickly have an extra point on this. It's basically call the bluff, or call the people in the testimonials. So if you're speaking to the company, you should be asking a question. Can I speak to some of your past customers, your recent past customers? I want to say some of your more recent work, not work that you had a really good developer 2 years ago who's since left. I don't want his work. I want your current work. Mm-hmm. And any good company should be able to give you this information, or at least speak to one of their past customers, see if it's okay for them to pass on details. Yep. And that you will get the no holds barred truth from a fellow business owner.
Yeah. So if someone emailed you and say, "Oh, I'm looking to have some work from company XYZ, which you recently employed to do some work from you," you would help them, because they're a fellow business owner. They're a cool person, just like me, you, and Dave. That you would help them in as best you could, even if it's a reply via email rather than a phone call. But you'll be able to pick up their in the tone of the email and the tone of the writing, whether it went well, when it went badly, and how that company reacted. Okay.
I think this is either going to go 2 ways. The company is going to go, yes, speak to John, and you're going to speak to John, and John's going to say, yes, X company are fantastic. They did a great job on our website. I'm more than happy to recommend them. Or they're going to say, oh, we can't find any customers that are really willing to share the details. That basically means they don't have any customers that they trust to give them a good review. Yeah. Warning, warning, warning flags. Because let's face it, if me
Step out the door.
Bye.
Bye. No, that should be your response. Remember, it's your hard-earned cash. It's your business on the line. And this is, again, why we're making this video, is because we care about your cash. As in that we don't want you to stand on top of a manhole cover and just start chucking £10 notes down it from a lack of experience or a lack of knowledge.
But I mean, just thinking as a reasonable human beings, myself and Matt with Understanding E, we have Magento, we have Second Office, and a load of others. But we have used these ourselves, and we like them that much. We're more than happy to recommend them to everyone else that we come across who think that they would benefit. Mm-hmm. Any companies that we have heard of or use that we didn't quite like, mm-hmm. we don't say a thing about them. We just, we just stay quiet. We don't recommend, we don't put our name to them. So that's what you're looking for. If someone's willing to go on the record and say, yes, I used them, they were really good. Mm. Or they were really good. There was a few issues here, but that was more of a communication issue with my end and their end. Mm. Fair enough. These things happen. People go on holiday, people misplace things. Delays happen. But if you can't find them giving you a customer to speak to, chances are it's not a good sign.
Doors that way.
Exit stage.
Company. Okay. Now, another point here is check their portfolio. Okay, and remember the purpose of a portfolio is for that company to show off their best work to you. Now, a couple of little points on there. Go and have a look at the example websites. And obviously, if they don't have a portfolio, remember the doors this way, leave. Okay, is have a look at their work. Now, does the website look nice? Does it feel polished? Have a navigate around the website. Remember, you're looking for dead links and really old stuff and things which are broken. Okay, that would point out that maybe it's not a very well maintained site and they've been left in the lurch. post the build. Okay. If it was
Matt, let's just put that into the real world.
Yeah.
You've decided you bought a new house, you want to buy some art. You're going to go to an artist and say, I'd really like to buy some art. Can I have a look at what you've done? He goes, no. You can buy it. It's going to be $5,000, this art, but you can't see it, and you can't see what I've done previously. You'd be heading for that door again, wouldn't you? So why would it be any different for a website? They're basically web artists who are going to make your site look pretty, and you're going to have to look at it every single day.
Yeah.
If they don't have a portfolio, they're not willing to show you work that they've done. Yeah. That's an immediate.
Yeah. And just moving in, like coming into in the real world, you have to account for someone else's bad taste. Okay.
Absolutely.
They may absolutely adore their website, but you hate it. That's okay. Remember, it's not your website, and it's someone else's decisions in there. And they may not have had a specification list which they've been working off.
Which you will have.
A logo. Might not like the colours. That's completely irrelevant. It's the whole package which you're looking at.
Yeah.
Now, also the point of a portfolio is that on these sites, it's very common for you to have maybe a Twitter bar down the side of your website or Facebook comment section. Okay. That should be one of the things which you're researching in a company's portfolio to then go and find out if that company is a real company. Okay, that's at that point. It's not unheard of for show sites to be put up. Okay, couple of seconds. You look on the home side. They've got Twitter link. Click the link. Got Facebook link. Click the link. Does it happen to go back to the same design company? Does that actually go anywhere? Okay,
that's another one.
How can you let a website go live with incorrect information? Okay, and then you can go off and maybe that's how you can find the contact details of the business owner, for example, to then go and have a chat. How did the build go with this company? Okay, a couple of little very simple suggestions, but also very practical. And again, costs you nothing more than a cup of coffee, sat in front of the computer, clicking a few links. Straightforward as that. Next one, Dave.
Next one is knowledge is power. Now, this is the same with anything, and it's just as true when it comes to having a website built and doing your research with website companies. So we've both, sadly, heard of companies charging or quoting, or both being quoted and charged, say £20,000-30,000 for a Magento website to be built. That's a bit ridiculous. But we've also heard of companies being charged £200 to have some text on an About Us page changed. Really? Really? I mean, and this is the thing, is that knowledge is knowing how to change that text and therefore saying, is £200 really worth their time, their 10 minutes of time? Probably not.
It's knowing that it's 10 minutes.
Exactly. They we'll have to go into the code and we'll have to do this, that, and no. Just no. To change the text on a static page on a website isn't difficult. There's countless tutorials, including our own, online, which can show you how to do this in Magento.
Yeah.
It's not £200 worth of work.
Yeah, on the flip side is that with a little bit of knowledge, and our point here is that knowledge is power when it comes to this, is knowing that, oh my God, that's like 10 minutes, or 2 minutes, as the case may be. I need to go to CMS pages, find the page, edit text, press save. Okay, it could be as simple as that. Or you also knowledge is power because then you then understand that daily deal widget, for example, that is actually an extension and it needs some styling changes to it. So the £200 which you're spending on that is actually a complete bargain because it would take you 10 years to work out what the hell's going on. So this is our point. Knowledge is power because then you know, oh my God, that's a simple job. This is not money well spent. But on the flip side, you also know that, oh, actually, I won't be able to do that. That is kind of tricky. It's going to cost me 200 quid, complete bargain, let them do it. Where do I sign? Kind of.
Exactly. Swallow. Is it worth me spending 5 hours learning the bit of CSS and HTML that I need, or do I just pay them £200 to do it and have it done in half an hour?
Yeah, exactly. Same way, kind of environment.
And just have Richard on Periscope say, knowledge helps you identify the project. Exactly. It helps you know exactly what is required before you sign on the dotted line.
Yeah, exactly. Now, there are many resources out there. We've mentioned them a couple of times already. YouTube. Okay, it's the biggest one. I love YouTube for many different reasons. Type in what you're looking for, how to use Magento. Okay, type that into YouTube and find a video tutorial and sit there and watch it. Even if it's a bad tutorial, and there's a lot of those. Thankfully, I don't think any of ours are, but there are even a bad tutorial is going to help you because you are going to become familiar with Magento. You're going to feel more comfortable with the administration bar, creating products, editing products. You might not know all the settings, and frankly honest, I don't even know all the settings in Magento. Is that you'll feel that, because there's a lot, but you'll also feel more comfortable. You'll know that, oh, okay, I need to change something with maybe shipping, so that's going to be in system configuration, and then maybe in the little shipping section down on the left-hand side. Okay, it's just getting your experience level up, and there's lots of resources out there. They don't have to be understandingese. Just go to YouTube and do a search and do your homework. Again, if you're going to be spending thousands of pounds or thousands of dollars on a new Magento website, you owe it to yourself personally, you owe it to your company, you owe it to your team around you to be responsible and to do the research beforehand. It could just be a couple of evenings sat there on the iPad and watch it while the missus watching Neighbours or something like that. Just watch it on the iPad. Do your background research. Okay, we're not on a deadline here at all. The website, if you've got no website, well, you've got no website, and and you've already got a website. Happy days. It's still running, hopefully, and it can wait an extra week while you're doing your research. Okay, so that's our point. Do your research. Knowledge is power. Okay, you don't have to know every single detail. Okay, you just need to be familiar. And YouTube and video tutorials are a great way for you to sit there on your gym jams and to watch and digest. Okay.
And that spins off nicely into our next point, is to find out what are you actually paying for. And this is the golden question, which the more sort of dodgy is a funny word, dodgy companies are going to hate. Because if you say, actually, yeah, they've quoted me $3,000. Can you give me an itemized bill of what this $3,000 is going to be spent on? Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, they can't hide anymore. They are going to have to set a price next to everything. So
yeah,
you can
even
then
if they
say
know the price range, because some of these things are unknown until you hit them, and that's okay. If they put anywhere between £10 and £100 for a specific piece, that's them saying, we don't really know until we get there, so that's a good estimate.
Yeah, and exactly. For anything that's like designy or codey, that's to be expected because they don't know that's going to be a developer's time that's going to have to be spent there. But if they're, say, install M2E Pro, it's on your project specification, you want to sell a multi-channel, install and configure M2E Pro. If they've set £1,000 for that,
no,
hopefully through knowing the tutorials,
show you how to do that. So
we'll show you how to do that for free. Yeah. You can say, I don't need that. I'll do that.
I'll do that bit myself.
And you'll save yourself £1,000. Yeah. And that £1,000 goes a long way in your marketing efforts. So again, knowing what it is exactly that you're paying for and asking for that, don't be afraid to ask for a full breakdown. At the end of the day,
even if you have to pay for it, even if they're going to charge you a couple $100 or a couple £100 for the specification, which never really heard of.
No.
But it's for transparency, and it goes back, does this align with my product specification, my bullet points for my business, your business? Mm-hmm. Does it meet these details? So did they have SSL certificate in there? Did they factor in that that's going to cost and may take 1 day? Things like that. And it can also help you work out the timings, and that's another big frustration as well, is the time with this with your specification and them showing you what and documenting what they're going to be doing for you. It kind of sets a realistic time frame, so you don't have these projects which run on for month after month and drive you up the wall. It's not like that, because you've suddenly got this tick list, and you'll go, I'm going to use my green pen for that one. Tick, got the SSL certificate. Tick. I got my project, tick, I've got my daily deal widget. Okay, you can see your progress. Okay, yeah. It makes the experience more pleasurable because you're not in any doubt of what needs to be done, and it's not so grey. It's probably the best example for that.
And I just quickly want to make the point. You may think that we're sort of exaggerating this point. about this time last year, maybe a little later, maybe July, August last year, both myself and Matt had an email from a chap called James who sent us a copy of his itemised bill for his website design. It was £33,000 that he'd been quoted, and there were things such as M2E Pro M2E Pro configuration, £1,000, eBay configuration, £500, Amazon configuration, £500. Wait a minute, surely if you're configuring M2E Pro, that includes configuring eBay and Amazon, as that's what it is. That's what the configuration consists of. So he was getting charged twice for the same thing. And that is where the knowledge comes in, is to know, actually, can you explain what eBay and Amazon configuration is if you're already configuring M2E Pro?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe some there being an item on the list which is to start adapting or to tweak your inventory, which would actually quite be a laborious task. It's one of the tools which we're working on here at Understanding E anyway. You might see a higher value for that, and then it's understanding what's in there. And again, remember, this piece is knowledge is power. It's understanding if this is good money to be spent, or that man on with you chucking £10 notes down it and wasting your money. Okay, because remember, the deeper the hole which you dig in the expense of the website, that website's got to dig itself back out. You've got to dig this website back out again in cost, in profit, which is much harder to obtain than spending it in the first place. So the website pays for it. That's the ultimate success tick for a website. It paid for itself and is now making money. And every £10 you go in the hole, you've got to dig yourself back out in £10 on the way back out. Okay, so just keep that one in profit on the way back out. Now, Dave, the next section here is around gut instincts, isn't it? Would you like to come?
Yeah, and this is something which you can flag up largely in the points that we've previously made, and it's something which is very hard for us to explain. But you've all felt it. You've all had that gut instinct when something doesn't feel right or it doesn't seem right. Chances are it isn't right. There's something inside you saying something's not making sense here. Something's not adding up. And like I said, it's a hard one for us to explain. But if you get that feeling, walk away.
Yeah, it's straightforward. You've seen me walk off the screen a couple of times, and we genuinely mean that. If something doesn't feel right, and just walk away. Straightforward. Because it's not you're saving yourself a potential loss. So
yeah, this company is trying to, win your business. They're trying to, get you to trust and invest in them to look after the online presence of your business. So if at any point you don't feel that this company are either up to the job or that you trust them, that's a big thing. That's a big deal. That their job is to win you over. Is to put their arm around you and say, come on, we'll look after this. We'll do a great job. You can trust us. And if at any point you just think, I don't trust you, walk away.
Yeah, don't sign anything. Okay, now this is a difficult one to explain. So a couple of little pointers for you, and they're going to be really obvious when you think about them. So, Is their website poorly designed? Remember, they're going to be a design or a development company after all. You're expecting it to be pretty damn.
They should have one of the best websites, to be fair.
Exactly. There's no phone number available, okay, or no phone, or not answering the phone or returning your calls, okay. Maybe poorly written communication, so in web pages or emails. You're looking for. We're assuming you're English because you're listening to this. Look for bad English, okay. That would reek foreign development, okay, foreign copy. And remember, ultimately this company is going to be presenting your company. You need the best. You need, and again, if you can't do it or are unwilling to do it yourself, then you need to rely upon someone else to do it for you. Is their website copy, their actual written material, up to scratch? Does it actually make sense? So they're using proper English, whether that's UK English, Australian English, or American English. Does it make sense for the country where you're based to? Look out for out of the blue communications. Now, a few seconds ago, my phone rang. Now, actually, that was my mum, okay? But if that was someone phoning me to sell me a website, how did they get my number? That must make you think that question. How did you get my number? And let them ask for the person, okay? Because I'm not going to answer the phone and go, hi, it's Matt. I'm going to answer the phone and go, howdy, and let them talk to work out whether I'm going to say, oh yeah, let me go and get him for a minute, and then leave the phone on the side and carry on with the rest of my work. Okay. Now, on a serious point, is to question how they got in contact with you. Is this a cold call? Okay. How did they get that information? Because if a company is relying upon that information to drive new business to their company, then you kind of want to question their methods, because that's not a referral-based business. That's not word of mouth. Say me and Dave suggesting an extension like Magento, for example. That is cold call. They're coming to you cold. And that should, again, immediately set alarm bells off in your head. Remember, this is a stranger. And as much as humans, and I mean you and Dave are all very polite people, is that sometimes arm's length. Okay, they've come to you cold. It's okay to put the hand up and say, I'm not interested. Okay, you can say you're not interested. If it sounded like half decent what you're interested in, then go and do your research. And remember, then go back into your portfolio, check certifications and things like that, and then do your research in your own time. There's no, that phone call, you can just press the red button at any point in time. It's okay, it's your phone. It's wasting your time, potentially.
The same goes for emails as well, because there's a lot of businesses out there which buy email addresses. As bad as it sounds, they do. This is just the same as cold calling. They're cold emailing or spamming. They're just they're basically casting a big net over thousands of email addresses and hoping they catch a couple of hits. Mm-hmm. My point of view on this has always been, if these companies are going to take these type of shortcuts with their own business, what type of shortcuts are they going to take with yours? And would I wouldn't give them the time of day, let alone £1,000 to build a website. So that would be my advice. Okay. If their business practices are ropey or questionable at best, I wouldn't trust them with understanding. I wouldn't trust them with anything. I wouldn't recommend them to anyone.
Yeah. Okay. Now, two other little points for you. If the company's asking for 90% or 100% up front, not happening. Okay. 50% or 40% of a project, yeah. And again, this is now, we're turning into a business relationship now. Yeah. And it's just like a personal one-on-one relationship. Dave, I'd like you to do some work for me. Dave's going to tell me, I can do that for you. Here's the specification. But for me to start, I'd like 40% up front. Dave's going to invest a lot of time into this. I would be more than happy to give Dave 40% up front.
I might have costs. I might need to pay a designer at my end. My time, it's fair enough.
It's fair enough.
100%? Yeah, not quite.
No, that's not
happening. Not
happening. And again, we'll mention about solo or single developers and single development companies. These are not bad by any means. I've had some fantastic, let me get words correctly. I have had some outstanding work done by individual developers and designers in the past, and some of the tips we got for you that on the in about a few moments' time. But just be aware, you do need to put some cash up front. Okay, it's playing fair, but not 90% or 100%, 40, 50%. That's okay. All right, and then also be clear on the rest of the installments which need to be made. And again, with your specification, the project plan, you know where you need to stump up some cash. So you've got down to an item like maybe 62, and once that one's done, you've got to go chuck some money into the pot. That's fair, those that you've ticked all the list all the way off as you've gone there. It's clear, it's transparent.
Yeah.
Okay. And the other point here is that maybe they're asking too much, maybe 20, 30, 40 grand for a Magento build. Or maybe on the flip side of that, maybe they're asking too little. Maybe just £250 for a Magento design. That's just not, you couldn't even get that done maybe in India, for example. And what you get.
There is a thing as too cheap. And if things are too cheap, then they're going to be bad, to put it simply. Then they're going to be bad, or they're not going to be what you asked for. Mm-hmm. And then that's just going to mean you're going to have to pay someone else to redo it. So that £250, you might as well write it off. So again, we're trying to tell you, don't get ripped off, but at the same time, be sensible. There is a budget to, things do cost money. So again, just want to bear in mind, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Yeah. Now, if the company is not actually a company, it's a person. It's a single developer or a single designer which you're working with. Remember, they most likely have a portfolio of previous clients which you can chat with, at least via email. Okay, so the same rules apply, but also ask that freelancer to provide the links to the different freelancing websites. So it's highly likely that they've done some work on freelancer.com or Upstart, which is the renamed Odesk, or Elance, and then look for, they may have lots of reviews on one site because they've focused their attentions on there, but look for commonalities. It's the same username, for example. Okay, it's very typical. Again, I was thinking when I said about outstanding work, I'm thinking about a specific developer, which is now actually full-time in my team. She was that good, and it's because everything added up, and we started off with a small project, and then we got into a very expensive project, and now she's actually one of my team in there. And my original checks, okay, was that just making sure that all these details are valid across the different sites, and that was one of my first checks. And not only as a product specification, but also just doing those checks has honestly saved me tens of thousands of dollars over the years, because I've gone in eyes wide open. And the times where not the developer has screwed up or the designer screwed up, where I've screwed up, okay, it was either me, which didn't do the research properly, or me, which didn't do the specification properly. Okay, it's always when something goes wrong, I always take ownership myself. It was down to specification or me not doing my homework to ensure that that person was actually capable of doing that task. Okay, it's just a mentality or view which I have for it. So, but every other time when I've done my research and my specification, things have typically gone really, really well. And again, my specifications are always quite flexible too. I know that you can't write every single thing down, and there may be a little bit more cost. Or it may come in early. I've had projects come in early because the specification's been so good. Is that, well, Dave, you saw me the other day specifying screens on the whiteboard, give that to my developer and she makes it. And then because I've added in screenshots,
annotation,
OCT specifications. I'm not a typical boss by any means, because they get full-blown specifications even down to validations and things like that in the background. So put the time and effort in there in the research of that person. Now, Dave, it's time for us to wrap up, and we've got these 3 very simple tips for you.
We're talking over an hour.
Oops.
So the whole reason that we wrote this article or recorded this video is because over the past, like I said, 2 weeks, we've had a flurry of emails and stories from people who have had terrible experiences with these sort of companies who've been sort of over-promising, overcharging, and under-delivering massively.
Heavily. Yeah.
And that just doesn't sit well with me and Matt. When we first started understanding E, we knew that this was going on, and we were sort of hoping to tackle it by education, by showing you how you can build Magento on your own, how you can design a website on a budget of $99.
We're 18 months in now. We're 300 plus video tutorials, step by step, in dedicated courses, and we've got, I think it's 27 in a Magento Basics live today. There is another, whatever it is, 63 to go in on top. There's going to be over 100 basic tutorials, step-by-step chunks, okay? We're now in much a better position to go, actually, guys, girls, YouTube, understand me. Here's the step-by-step tutorials which will walk you through the different stages, and we've now got that wealth available, and we don't want you to fall into these things. We're more interested in you and your business being a success long-term, and knowing that there are people out here like myself and Dave, which actually genuinely give, insert word there, in the background in your success. And again, our members at Understanding E, we are at success because they are at success, and it's as straightforward as that. But we don't charge them a percentage of sale or massive costs and things like that. If they'd like to stay, they stay, and that's the proof in the pudding. Is that Understanding E for us has been very successful because we're also very open. We actually give 2 hoots about whether you're a success or not. So,
I mean, our whole business, for us to be successful, you have to be successful. So we can't not care. You know, we have to care, and that's the key. That's why we've just spent an hour talking to you, trying to save you from making the same mistakes which people have been making and telling us about. So, what do we do? It's sort of like they've woken a sleeping dragon. They've basically poked me and Matt, and we've got, right, we've had enough of this. It's time that we sort of did a little bit more shouting about this.
Yeah. So let's wrap up now, okay? And it can be summarized into 3 very simple points, okay, which you can really not go wrong with if you are willing to put the time and the effort in, to which you basically have an obligation, a responsibility, and a duty to yourself and your business to do anyway. We're just going to put it into these 3 points, and you really cannot go wrong with them. And the first one is do your research. Remember, I was talking a few minutes ago, or maybe 20 minutes ago, about getting the iPad while the missus is watching the TV. Okay, watch tutorials. Okay, get your experience level up. Know what they're talking about. Even if you don't have to tend to be an expert in it. Okay, you say, oh yeah, I remember that section, and it becomes familiar to you. Remember the word familiar. Do your research. Okay, find out whether you're getting is actually good value for what you're asking for. Okay.
Yeah. Number 2 is specify what it is that you think that you need. And in the famous words of one of our members, Richard, he said, you need to have a plan so you know what you're going to deviate from. Perfect. Deviating is fine. Deviating from that plan is fine. It's expected.
Yeah.
But at least you have a plan to stick to, or at least to guide you, so that if the goal does move slightly, you can deviate. You're not just floating around in space. Oh, what do we do? You have a plan. That plan is crucial. Specify what you need, what it is you want, and that just makes the journey a lot clearer.
Yeah, and again, those of you with perhaps a military background would know that any plan, when engagement with the enemy happens, that the plan goes completely to pot. Okay, but the point is that you had a plan, you've got some idea of what's going to go on, and yes, you may get pushed, pulled in all the different directions as it goes on. That's
plan B and
you've
plan
kind of
C.
got a plan. You knew what your objective is. You need to know where you're going to get to, and that's one of the key parts of a plan. And if you can't get to that objective, what's the secondary objective as part of the plan? Okay, and a specification or a view to specify, sit down and write some bullet points, okay, of what you actually need. It's going to save you time, it's ultimately going to save you money, and a big one, it's going to save you a lot of frustration. Number 3, the last one, Dave.
Trust your instincts. Like I said, we can't put a price on your gut instinct, and we can't properly tell you what it is or what it could be. We gave you some examples. It could be that you can't get hold of them, their website doesn't look good, or anything like that. But just generally, if you don't feel comfortable in giving this company money or representing your business, walk away. There's plenty of other people out there.
Yeah, and there are some, and again, we've been maybe a little bit, we try to keep very much on the practical point of view.
Yeah.
And so we made a few points, main points across doom and gloom, and it's not like that at all. There are some fantastic design and development companies out there, and also individuals too. And again, I'm thinking one which we recommend, Chris Astley. Okay, brilliant, really, really nice guy. Again, his fellow business.
Knows his stuff,
and where he doesn't know, he just kind of puts his hands up, I don't know, but I'll go and find out for you. That kind of positive attitude out there. There are some fantastic companies out there. It's just your job to keep it really, really simple. And remember, it's quoting Grant Cardone, it's your duty, it's your responsibility. I've got the other one now. To you and your business to make sure that you do your research, you do have that specification, and you do rely upon that gut instinct, because that's been worked into you for a very, very long time. It's a survival instinct, and if something doesn't add up, leave. Okay, don't put any money down. Okay, and just get it right. Okay.
And I think a point that we haven't touched on yet, but one that is worth making, is that to build an e-commerce business or any business really, but especially when it comes to our website or an online presence, you need one of 2 things. You either need time or you need money. Now, at Understanding E, we show you how you can do it the time way. We will show you our tutorials will show you, if you invest time, we will show you how to do this. We understand though that not everybody has time. Time is a precious commodity. In which case, if you want to go down the money route and pay someone else to do it, great. That is the other option. And the other option is fantastic if you're in a position where you can do that. Our advice through this video has been, Just don't get ripped off. At the end of the day, your money is your money. You work hard for your money, and your money is much better spent driving traffic to your website and increasing sales to your business than it is going into some inflated invoice for some design company.
Yeah, we're saying go in eyes wide open, know your stuff, trust your instincts, and actually specify what you want within your business. Okay, and if it doesn't add up, leave. Okay, walk away, work on to the next one, because there are some fantastic business owners out there, and company owners and single entrepreneurs, developers and designers, which can help you in your business, and they do want your work, and they will care about whether you're a success or not, because they want your business just like as you want your customers to be buying from you long term. And again, it works the other way. Okay,
exactly.
Keep that.
They not only just want your business, but they'll want your referral, your recommendation, your testimonial, your recurring.
Well, there's best sites. One of those sites in the.
They want your relationship, not just your business.
Yeah, and maybe that should be number 4. Look for the companies who want the relationship long term. Okay, maybe that's just misinterpreted in the gut instincts one. That would be a huge piece in there. Yeah. They're looking for your business long term. Again, you would want that. You would want somebody with who you can lean on. To give you help when maybe something goes pear-shaped.
To answer the phone, answer emails, and are there for you when something goes wrong. Because as we all know, something will go wrong at one point.
Yeah, that's of life. I've dealt with software for the last 10 years or so, and I can tell you, even in the software which I developed, there's bugs in there, either known or unknown. And it's just me.
Unknown features.
So, hidden features. That's the best way.
Yeah.
So, it's just the facts of life. So, let's wrap up now. I'm Matt, that's Dave. We both genuinely hope that this video, and again, if you're listening to us on Meerkat or on Periscope, that you found this helpful to you and your business. So thank you very much. Okay, for those on Meerkat. Yes. Thank you for those on Dave saying thank you on Periscope as well. Yeah. We both genuinely mean this. We hope that this video, whether you're listening to this on YouTube or been watching us live, has been able to help you and your business. Okay, remember there's 3 simple rules. I'm going to cover them again. Okay, do your research. Remember, you owe it to yourself and your business to do that research. Okay, specify what you want. Okay, and that specification can move. Remember that. And the last one is trust. Trust your gut instinct on whether the company which you're talking to is going to be helpful to your business. So with that said, if you have found this video, whether it's live or on YouTube, helpful, we would love a retweet or a like on Meerkat. The same couple little taps on the screen on Periscope as well. And if you're watching it on YouTube, bash the like button, and remember you can press subscribe underneath, and this is just one of literally hundreds of videos which we've got available. And the last words are just 2 simple words, which are thank you. Okay, we generally mean that. Thank you for spending the time with us. We both appreciate it. Now, if you would like to know more about what me and Dave do, nip across to understandinge.com. Fill your boots. Straightforward as that.
Likewise, if you have any questions about anything that we've spoke about during this video, or if you're on the site of the article, we have a comment section underneath on Understanding E on this article, or if you're on YouTube, the comment section there is a great place as well. Me and Matt will be able to interact with you there. Periscope, Meerkat, Twitter is the best place to ask your questions, and we will get back to you. You talking to us, we will get back to you. We promise.
Indeed. So on that note, from myself, Matt.
And from me, Dave.
Cheerios. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.
Have a great day.
So from myself, Matt.
And me, Dave.
We hope that you found this video tutorial helpful.
If you have, then let us know by leaving a thumbs up on this video below or subscribing to our YouTube channel.
We believe to use Magento, you don't need a degree in Nerd, and we've created you over 300 step-by-step video tutorials at understandinge.com to help you.
In these tutorials, you'll learn how to use Magento with no prior knowledge,
how to build a fully responsive Magento website for just $99, which is about 65 quid.
How you can use Magento to sell on eBay and Amazon with M2E Pro.
And you'll be joined by over 6,000 fellow business owners just like you.
And the best part is,
It's free to join.
So for myself, Matt,
And me, Dave,
we'll see you there. Cheerios!